Look at all those cameras. All those cameras. Every stop, I got all these cameras. This never happened to Obama. This never happened to Bush. This didn't happen. They just follow. They're dying to see us make a little bit of a mistake. They analyze every word. They say, did he say that? Could it have been? Did he say something positive about Russia? I think he loves Russia. Be nice to get along with Russia, but that's okay. But these people, they analyze every single word, and they follow us. And you know what? The good news is we can get the word out. We can get the word out. And the word that I get out is what's happened to steel in this country, Dave just said, over the last 6 months. Even though we've been here for a little more than a year and a half, but we really hit it big over the last 6 months with what we've done. They were dumping steel all over the country, dumping it like it was garbage, and they were putting all of you people out of work. Now you're making your own steel, and the United States is taking in billions of dollars, they never say that, and also jobs, and also we're recreating a giant industry. We need steel. We need steel plants. And to see an old, big monster plant like this reopening, that is an honor. And I look at the faces of you people. I could be one of you. I could be one of you. I like you guys. I like you guys, I tell you. But I could be one of you. It's true. Looking around, all these good-looking people. It could be me, and I'd be happy if I was, because you're opening up plants all over the country. I think U.S. Steel is opening up 7 plants and expanding. They're taking areas that they never thought they'd see again in the big old plants. They have a little corner of a building, and now they're taking half the building and all of this giant building. It's a big difference, David. Thank you very much for doing a great job. You've been a great spokesman. And I know you're all proud to work at a company where the steel is, in fact, mined and melted and made in America. For more than a century, the workers here at Granite City Mill helped build the most powerful and prosperous nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. That's right. They poured the sweat from their brows and the love from their souls to support their families, and they love their country. We all love our country. But bad things were happening. 3 years ago, the flood of subsidized imports and the tidal wave of unfair trade targeting our steel industry and, frankly, lots of other industries. It finally caught up with Granite City Steel. Hundreds of workers were laid off. Your 2 beautiful blast furnaces were idled, and the lifeblood of this community was drained. Over the last 2 decades, nearly 2/3 of American raw steel companies went out of business. More than 1/3 of the steel jobs vanished. We need steel mills for national security. Remember that. This isn't just price. This isn't just, gee, we could do it for a little bit less. We need it for national security. Our steel towns became ghost towns. More than 70,000 hardworking Americans lost their jobs, their hope, and their way of life. You people know it better than anybody. Other countries cheated and broke the rules. They subsidized their industries. They targeted our factories, our workers, our countries. They went after our companies, and they stole our intellectual property like it never even belonged to us, like it wasn't our idea in the first place. Our trade deficit ballooned to $817 billion. Think of that. We lost $817 billion a year over the last number of years in trade. In other words, if we didn't trade, we'd save a hell of a lot of money. And our leaders said the only choice was economic surrender. They surrendered. And by the way, even the politicians in Washington, nobody wanted me to be doing what I'm doing. The country was doing well, but ultimately, it was going to be a very bad thing for our country. So I did it, and I did it when we were the strongest. We're having the best economy we've ever had in the history of our country. And this is the time. This is the time to, right. This is the time to straighten out the worst trade deals ever made by any country on earth ever in history. These deals were made by people, I don't know if they didn't understand or if they didn't care or if they didn't frankly love our country. But we have the worst trade deals ever made in history. But now they're becoming good again. We're here today because America never surrenders. We don't wave the white flag. We only wave the flag that we love. It's called red, white, and blue, and it's beautiful. America is fighting back, and we're winning. We're winning. Your two great congressmen, we talked about winning before. They came up to me and they said, you know, we've never seen anything like what's happening in this country. But nobody has, because it's never happened before what's happening with us right now. But this is a special industry to me. This is steel. This isn't another, this is steel. And we're watching this one closely. And it's going up, Dave, only up. For years, politicians, other than the three politicians with us today, these politicians ran for office pledging to crack down on unfair foreign trade, only to get elected, get into office, and then do absolutely nothing except let our country get ripped off. But I'm not like other politicians. I've never been a politician before. I only started 2.5 years ago, and I became president. How am I doing, okay? But I keep my promises, and I keep my promises to your industry, and I keep my promises to the workers of this country. 4 months ago, I stood alongside steelworkers just like you, and I announced that to defend our national security, we were placing a 10% tariff on foreign aluminum and a 25% tariff on foreign steel. That very same week, U.S. Steel announced it was restarting production right here in Granite City and bringing back far more than the original estimate of 500 jobs. A lot more than that now. And just last month, U.S. Steel announced the reopening of the second blast furnace, far ahead of schedule, meaning almost 1,000 jobs, and those are good-paying jobs. Very soon, these amazing workers will once again be pumping out 2.7 million tons of raw American steel every single year. And the number's going to go, Dave, a lot higher than that. I can say it. You probably aren't allowed to do that, but I can say it, okay? And we know that American steel is the best steel in the world. We don't have to worry about the quality. I was in the construction business. I know a lot about steel and would order steel, and sometimes, depending on where it came from, it wasn't steel. It was a lot of garbage that looked like steel. We don't have to worry about that. And we also know that our steel industry is vital to our security and to our prosperity. If you don't have steel, you don't have a country.